Okay, I'm going to walk you through where we're headed with the research paper and what my expectations are for your outline. So, in terms of the specific requirements, remember that you have to turn in your presentation, you have to do that in class, and then following that, you'll turn in your outline and your first draft before you're able to submit a final draft. So, I think that we're probably going to be a little bit short on class time this semester, and so I want to make sure that you're clear on what the expectations are for the outline. So if you have questions about this video, please email or text me, and don't worry about it until after the by-run break. But just a reminder that your research paper is going to be a minimum of 1,650 words. That's not including the end of text citations, but it is including in-text citations and any quotes that you use. Remember to use quotes responsibly. I prefer paraphrases over quotation, but you should have at least one quote somewhere in your research paper. Please have mercy on me and try not to exceed 2,300 words for your research paper. That is so that I have time to grade it for everyone over finals. If you're a little bit over, that's okay, but please don't go crazy. You must include at least 5 outside sources, and this means sources that you found that we did not use in class. So you're welcome to use Connerly et al. In fact, I encourage it, but these don't count toward your outside sources. And I am asking that you have 2 different types of sources. So if you want to have like 4 research articles in 1 book chapter, or 4 book chapters and 1 website, or whatever, that's totally fine. But I'm asking for 2 different kinds of sources for a total of 5 that you have found on your own for your research paper. Please let me know what questions you have about that. So this is posted on the first page of your course book in case you don't remember. This is the general outline for our research paper. This is a little bit different than what the other 102 classes are doing. So like if you're talking to your friends about what their instructor is expecting, it's going to look a little bit different. The reason why I chose this structure is that I think that it encourages you to think about writing in a different way than you have as you've been essay writing, and I think that it is building you toward more professional writing. If you're ever interested in doing research, this will kind of help build those foundational skills for you, and if you're not interested, it will at least give you something to do that's a little bit different than the standard essay you've been writing for 101 and 102 so far. So in terms of the general outline, you're going to have an introduction, but don't work on your introduction as part of your outline. That should come last. Don't stress about it. You're going to have a paragraph that introduces the significance of the research. This is going to kind of come out of the barriers and benefits part of your presentation that you did as part of your research proposal presentation. But we're going to look at how to do this in class. So I do not expect this to be part of your outline. We'll work on this in class after break. There are 2 sections that I want you to have as part of your outline. The first is the analysis of the norm. This section is going to be objective. Think of it kind of like a lit review or an introduction in an academic article. This is where you're not making an argument, but just presenting facts. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit different than your 102, where your facts are connected to your argument. Your previous essays for me, where your facts are connected to your argument. We're going to have an objective section that is just presenting the situation as it is without any argument. Then the next section is going to be the evaluation, and this is where you're going to show your stance, and you're going to have kind of your more traditional thesis-driven section. So kind of the academic essays that you've written before are going to be more like this evaluation section, where it's going to be thesis-driven, and you're going to be making a specific argument about your norm, whether it is ultimately helpful or harmful. Then you're going to have recommendations and conclusion. And again, we're going to work on this in class a little bit. So the things that I would like to see in your outline are your analysis section and your evaluation section. And then references are also required as part of your outline. And this way I can give you feedback so that by the time you're turning in your essay, your final version of your research paper, you're not losing any points on references. So I put together this template. If it's helpful for you, use it. If it is not helpful for you, don't use it. Keep in mind that not all of this is going to be required. The sections that are marked with a star, this little asterisk guy, are required. Excuse me. So again, we're going to start with the analysis of the norm. Your outline does not need to include your significance or your introduction. This section should be objectives. It will likely be multiple paragraphs. You should introduce the norm and maybe its impact. kind of depending on how you're feeling about the argumentation. So what you're going to do at the beginning of your analysis section is you're going to introduce and define the norm using sources. So as part of your outline, you should have in-text citations here. That's part of the evaluation criteria. So you're going to say like this norm exists and this is how we know that it's real. That's going to lead into your research question. So you're going to have an introduction to the norm and then transition into your research question. And then you're going to explain the norm's impact with sources. So for example, for me, my research question about monolingual language ideologies would go here. So I'm going to define the fact that monolingual language ideologies exist. What are they? Get my reader familiar with their existence. And then I'm going to have my research question, and I'm going to explain their impact with sources. So what impact do monolingual language ideologies have on students? And then one thing that can kind of float between either your analysis or evaluation section is going to be applying the conflict theory and functionalist lenses. We're going to discuss how to write this section in class, and depending on how you do it, it could be in the analysis section or it could be in the evaluation. So you don't have to include this as part of your outline because, again, we'll talk about how to do this after break. But if you already have ideas about how to apply functionalism and conflict theory, feel free to put it in your outline and I'll give you feedback on it. But this is not required, okay? Then once you have kind of defined your norm, introduced your research question, explain the norm's impact, then you're going to be moving to your stance. So you're going to explain why the norm is ultimately helpful or harmful. Again, it can be a nuanced stance, so you could say it's helpful in these circumstances but harmful in these circumstances, so ultimately we should keep it if we do this, or ultimately it's more harmful, so we should get rid of it. So you just want to make sure that you have a clear argument. It can be good, harmful, or more nuanced. It's up to you. But you want to make sure that you're providing a clear stance. So this is where you're going to have your traditional thesis, where you're going to present your argument. This norm is harmful or helpful. So that's going to be your stance. And then you're going to have your roadmap. So what paragraphs are you going to have to argue to illustrate why the norm is either helpful or harmful? And you'll have a list of topic sentences. There isn't like a paragraph requirement for this section. So like if you feel like you have, 2 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs, whatever it is, I just want to see a topic sentence and possible sources for each one listed here. And then once you've done that, I recommend going back and designing your roadmap. So that's going to be the order of your body paragraphs as they're coming to signal to your reader what's coming next. And they should be in parallel structure like we talked about in class. If you're not sure what that means, talk to me about it. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for in your outline. Again, if you want to use this template, you can. If it's not helpful, that's totally fine. The thing that you want to keep in mind is that these are the things I'm going to be assessing you on. So for your argument, do you clearly state your research question or topic? Do you present a focused and arguable thesis statement? Do you organize your ideas logically with clear coordination and subordination? Like, is it clear what your main ideas and your supporting ideas are? Are they in the proper order for your reader? And then is it coherent and cohesive? Does it, again, kind of make sense to someone who doesn't have your brain? Then for source use, you need to make sure that you include a minimum of 5 relevant sources. And again, those are 5 that are original for you. If you're using Connerly et al., which I recommend, that's not going to count toward your 5. You want to make sure that you have textual evidence to support your claims, either like quotes or sample paraphrases that you're working on. And then you want to have complete in-text and end-of-text references. If you have questions about how to cite a source, please let me know. And then, of course, we are assessed on language. Do you word goodly? If you're not sure how to either use the not premium version of Grammarly or how to set your Microsoft Word language to English, please talk to me. There is a video on this YouTube channel that shows you how to change the spell check language to English in Microsoft Word. But if you're having trouble with that, please let me know. It's really important that you do spelling and grammar check in English just to avoid losing points. And then just, is your formatting logical? And then just double check this list before turning it in. If you have all of these things, you should be on the right track and can expect a strong score. If any of these requirements are unclear, please let me know. I will post on Moodle the rubric that I'm going to use to grade you so you can see what sections are worth how many points. And if you have questions about that, of course, please let me know. Please let me know what's unclear about this video. I hope that it's helpful for you and that you can return to it as you need it. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.